What is up there, SEO pros? So today what we're doing is the giveaway for the Internet Marketing Conference. You can see right here I actually already randomized the names. These are all the people who entered. Now, if you didn't win this, I will be doing another, or I won't be doing another polling. I can put the Internet Marketing Conference link in the description if you still want to buy tickets. I think they range between 400 to 900 depending on whether you want VIP access or not. But the event also, we have I think some deals on the hotels regardless. So like I said, I will be at this conference if you want to come and meet me there. But yeah, let's just dive into the results, and then also I will be answering these questions here that I posted, whether or not you guys needed your questions answered, I think about a week ago or maybe a little bit longer. I wasn't able to get to it because I was in Costa Rica and I had terrible internet, but I'm going to do that. And then also I just released a blog post if you guys want to check this out. I put together a list of the top ways to show local SEO progress in the first month. That link is also in the description. And it kind of just goes over the things that you're going to want to set up first, like for instance, the conversion tracking, the rank tracking, the offline conversion tracking, optimizing the name, address, phone number, website consistency, building out your citations. And I actually, for the first time, put my citation builder link here. So I haven't given that away until just now, and I've been just sending the links manually to people, but now you will actually be able to get that link and build out citations if you want to do that. Pretty good deal with what this guy offers too. So yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to check out this post if you haven't seen it yet. Like I said, it's in the description. So let's do the giveaway. Let me see the dashboard. Looks like we got 5 people watching. All right, so I randomized the list, and this is what we got. So I believe this is Oscar Salgado and Trevor Chuwaka. Sorry for the people who are in positions 3 and 4. But yeah, so I did the randomization. That's what we got. So for the people who did win, please send me a message on my website. I put a link as well in the description. You just got to head over to chasereiner.com/contact and leave me an email, and I'll send you the information for what you're going to need. And then also the dates that it's going to be on, which you guys should already know. It's the 5th to the 7th of next month. So let's go into the questions, and then just to give you guys a heads up as well, I will be doing a audit later today. So actually, I'll probably be doing like 2 audits. So if you guys want to stick around for that, make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can make sure to get alerted when I do that. So the first question is, how much water do you drink per day? And there was 10 likes on that. Yeah, so I drink a lot of water. I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I definitely drink, I would say a couple liters a day. I don't know if that's too much. But yeah, I drink a lot of water. I'm actually drinking kombucha right now, so I'm trying to switch it up. I also drink a lot of coffee. So if you guys are wondering about that as well, the coffee to water ratio is probably about half. Actually, I probably don't drink about a liter of coffee, but I drink a lot. Nils says, I have one. Not sure you want me to put it here, but I hope it's okay. It is about silos. Maybe it is me who gets it wrong, but linking from index a few steps down to the silo to important page, is that optimal? Or do I break the silo? I rarely hear people talking about that part, even though it feels natural. So linking from the index to a few steps down, if it's a really important page and it makes sense for the user experience, then I would say go for it. So like, for instance, if you're linking a homepage to a service page and that's 2 levels down, but that service page is like one of the most important services you offer, like for instance, if it's SEO and you want to rank that locally, I would say go for it, you know. But if you're just linking to like a blog post just because you're trying to pass link juice and you're trying to rank for some national keyword and you're like on page like 50 of Google, then that's kind of like, okay, that's probably not the one thing you're going to want to focus on for ranking that blog post. So it really depends on what your strategy is, but in most cases, if you're doing internal linking to other important pages that are truly offering value, then I would say do it. And then Swapnil says, what is silos if you have some time? It's just basically internal linking, but thinking of the internal link structure more in terms of like a silo of links going to one specific silo. So if we actually look up the definition of a silo, what is a silo? it's like a tower or a pit used to store grain, which is not a good example. But it's for instance like a something that you would be pointing a bunch of things to. So that would be like the main silo of like your links, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's basically what it is. Okay. Oscar says, how has Costa Rica changed your life? It's definitely helped me out in terms of seeing things differently. I was feeling kind of depressed before I left. Now that I'm back, I feel really happy that I have all the things that I have. And sometimes you have to go to like third world countries, I think, to experience that. Anthony says, should I fetch the privacy and terms page on my site and index them? Well, I definitely don't think you should. I definitely think that you shouldn't index them. You should index them. In terms of whether or not you should crawl them with Google Search Console, like just fetch them. I mean, you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could. It's not that big of a deal. If you just added them, you haven't had them on your site, and your site's like, a couple months old. I mean, I don't see any harm in doing it. Jen says, I did keyword research for my business. Best for me is internet agency city name. It's only a volume of 100, but bigger than SEO city name or social media marketing city name. Any tips for me? Ranking without the city name is tough because of the competition. Should I go for it and make pages with the other keywords I have volume in my city? So the options I'm hearing right now are that you either go for the city name with the keywords, or you go for it without the city name, right? Ranking without the city name is tough. Yeah, so in most cases, you're going to want to try to go for the city name because trying to rank nationally for social media marketing is going to be, insane. So yeah, I would go for city name. Just go SEO, whatever your city is, and depending on the competition, you should be okay. But in some cases, you do have to be careful. Like, for instance, I was able to rank for something called... the keyword was search engine optimization Maryland. And that's providing absolutely no value, even though there's a 2,000 monthly search rate. And the reason for that is because it's not actually customers looking for that. It's people who are SEOing for that. So in some cases, it's better to go for something like web design that's related and then pick up the clients off of that for SEO, because a lot of people who are looking for web stuff actually don't even know what SEO is. That's not everybody, but there is a good amount. Alan says, how many links to rank number 1 for gold underwear? That's something I probably wouldn't use links for. I would do content, but Alan and I have these debates all the time. Gio, who's apparently no longer, it says, in the group. I don't know why. Interesting. Construction company offices in Maryland, but it's not. But what's to target a zip code for leads in Washington D.C.? How to do it if the business is not local? So you would try to create landing pages and hopefully get like location listings over there in Washington. Yeah, so that's how a lot of people do it. They'll create, like I did it with the Reliable Computer Help website, where I did like a bunch of different city pages, and then I set up those pages as separate like sort of entities with Google My Business, and then created citations around those, and then that's pretty much how I did it. So that's how you got to do it. Jason says, what's best free SEO, or sorry, Gio, you could also create separate websites if you wanted to, but usually you want to do it under the same brand. Jason says, what's the best free SEO software or tool? Depends on what you're doing. For just checking a page, I think the Mozbar is nice. Also, I think Screaming Frog's a nice tool. I would probably go with Screaming Frog if you could choose one. Darlene said, I have a client with 4 locations across 2 states who sell 10 different categories of products: hot tubs, patio furniture, pools, grills, skis, snowboard, etc. Focus changes each season: 6 months spring, summer, 6 months fall, winter. What do you suggest for a fast ramp up for traffic just before the season change? I would go with search engine marketing and do some AdWords and then probably some remarketing. And maybe save up your content and start marketing your content around that time, or maybe a month beforehand for your different products. So like, for instance, top 10 best hot tubs in, I don't know, target location. I don't even know if that's a search rate, but you could target those locations with those articles and even if you already had those articles launched, you could still do like campaigns around those for paid stuff. But usually if you want like fast traffic for like just a certain month or however you're doing it, the best way to do it is through like search engine marketing. Other than that, or you can't just like automatically ramp up organic in like a month because that's just not really natural. So yeah, that's probably the best way. Either that or, like I said, just go really heavy with the content marketing before then and maybe save up your content. But even then, I would prefer to see the content distributed, not all at once, but maybe across like separate months. Like each month you do like one skyscraper, and maybe on the huge month beforehand you would do like 2 skyscrapers or something. I don't know. Sunhail says, can you smash 2 keyword phrases together to make 1 mega keyword phrase and then rank for both those keywords at the same time? How would you smash 2 keyword phrases together? I don't even know if that makes sense in the English language. To make 1 mega keyword phrase and then rank for those keywords at the same time. Or does one primary and the other secondary? So I think... I'm sorry, Suhail, but this isn't a video game, man. Like, you can't take 2 things and then make it into like a mega thing. This is like the English language. If you want to target 1 keyword or 2 keywords or multiple keywords at once, you can do that, and Google will hopefully semantically pick those keywords up. But you can't like combine 2 keywords and make them into 1 keyword. That doesn't even make sense. Suhail says, why do rankings fluctuate day by day? Some pages go up by a few ranks one day and fall by a few the next. Well, I mean, there could be so many things going on with this, depending on what your competition is, depending on what your SEO looks like, depending on what you're doing for links, if you're doing black hat or white hat, depending on the updates. So it really depends. Suhail says, when new pages are ranking and you haven't done all you can to optimize, do you let them continue to rank or do you continue optimization regardless? Well, that's one of the things I actually recommend, Suhail, is going into Search Console, seeing the things that are ranking like in positions 4 to 9 on average, and then going in and seeing what you can do, whether it be on page, off page, citations, all that stuff. Also like internal linking and link styles. Suhail says, give us more information about your coaching. I haven't really been doing that besides the tutorials lately, so I'm probably going to dive into that more in the future. Oh, looks like we got some people. By the way, if you guys haven't liked this video already, please give it a like. Brace says, hey Chase, I have a local website and applied everything you told us in your local guide, but I'm stuck at place 15. What should I do? Do you know someone who can look over it? I mean, yeah, so it's like one of those generic SEO statements where, sorry, kombucha, where it really depends. I do the SEO audits live on the channel, but they're $200. If you can't afford that praise, I don't know where to send you. I mean, maybe somebody in the community could help you out. But yeah, it really, really depends. There could be a number of underlying issues that's going on there. Nugan, oh, and also praise. I just made an article, and maybe you didn't cover all these things, but you can see top ways to show local SEO progress in the first month. I kind of go over these different things. The link is in the description if you want to check out some things that you can start doing, if maybe you missed a couple. Okay, Nugan says, oh my God, you're awake, you're a beast. it's like 8 a.m. Nugan, but I did start waking up at 6, so I can get more done, so that's awesome. Journey says, hi Chase, I'm a noob on SEO and currently on part 7 of your SEO guide, learning a lot. Thanks Journey. And by the way, if any of you guys haven't done so already, if you type in Chase Reiner and you are learning from the guides and stuff, it'd be really helpful if you could just click this write a review button and let me know. It would take just a couple seconds. All right. Next we got Praise saying, and could you add me to Facebook group because I can't join with message because I am from Switzerland, FB Praise Ring God. Yeah, if you could send me that on a message, Praise, so I don't forget, just go to chasereiner.com/contact and I'll get it done. Professionals for Life, aka Shane, says, hey Chase, how's it going? What's up, Shane? Shane's one of the very first followers that we had, subscribers, and he actually did a review of my channel a while ago. So if you guys look up Chase Reiner on YouTube, you'll actually probably find his video. Isolated said, how do we win the tickets? So I already did the giveaway. So if you didn't win, I apologize. If you want to buy the tickets, you can go over to the link that I should put, I need to put in the description, and you can go ahead and buy the tickets and meet me there. But yeah, the giveaway was just done. So Praise says, thank you, you're welcome. Richard says, morning, good morning. I think we have a few more questions, and then I got to jump off and jump into an audit. Bradley says, bankrupt lawyer PPC, what's a good conversion ratio in your experience, conversion being call or email form action? I mean, I haven't really specifically looked at conversions for lawyers and what the good ratio is, but generally a ratio is good if the ROI is higher than the cost per click or the average cost per conversion. So you can actually use certain targeting in AdWords called return on ad spend, or RAAS, and Google will help you optimize for that. But yeah, or CPA, I think it's similar, cost per acquisition. So yeah, as long as you're not tanking. I know in some situations, lawyers can be like a 200 cost per or CPC. So if that's the case and you're getting 10 clicks and no conversions, that's probably not very good, but it really depends. I keep saying it really depends because it does depend. I'm sorry, you guys. So Hale says, should an About Us page be targeting keywords too? Depends also, it depends also on the industry and whether or not people are looking for certain about pages for certain things. So Hale says, what do you think about Divi Builder for SEO purposes? I mean, I used my computer repair site that's ranking like number 2 with Divi, and it's terrible design, but overall pretty decent. The only problem is if you get too much stuff in there, the load times can be crazy. So Hale says, what is the difference between title tag and alt tags for images? What's the proper usage of both? So the title tags are meant to be like what the click-through would be if you clicked on the image, and the alt tag is supposed to be what you're actually seeing, so people who have screen readers can actually see what the image is, or know what the image is. So Hale says, now that Google has restricted usage for non-advertisers, what alternative do you recommend for keyword research, if any? I think you can still get in there. If you can't, I use like something like KW Finder's a great tool, and it's pretty cheap, I think. Keywordtool.io is something I use. But really, you're just gonna have to do research on, what keyword tool works the best for you and what you want to use. But there's so many ways you can do keyword research, and if you don't know all the different ways you can do it, I would check out Backlinko's article where he talks about keyword research because he has a huge guide on it. So Hale says, when starting a new website, is it important to publish first and then SEO, or vice versa? That's a good question. So I try to publish websites, or I would like to have websites designed with SEO in mind, because there can be a lot of problems in the future. But in any situation, depending on where you're at, I would say SEO is pretty much good to implement at any time in terms of, what you're going to be doing to get your implementation done for the future. Now, like I said, it is a little bit better if you do it in the beginning, because then you can make sure that the architecture is set up correctly, that the website is SEO friendly, that the site speed is fast. I mean, all the things that you're going to want to look at in terms of what an actual website's going to have, that's going to be considered by Google, and also its users. So Rob says, if a client's Google My Business listing is in a city that neighbors a high population city with high search volume for keyword plus city, would you build out pages for high population city, or build out pages in the city that Google My Business address is in? So it depends on how far away the listing is from the actual city. Google, or the new the Possum update actually gave more relevance to listings that are further away, or service areas as well. So if you guys haven't seen that update, by the way, I actually did a video on it. If you look up the Possum update on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. And I talk about kind of how the Possum update works, if you're interested in the different updates. But really, gosh, I keep needing to say it depends, but it depends on what the competition is, whether or not going for the other city that's smaller would be a higher possible KPI, and might generate a higher ROI, and you might be able to rank faster there. But it's like one of those situations where you have to gauge it. You have to figure out, what would be the thing that would work the best in the situation, and do we think that we can rank in the higher population city? And is there any other businesses that are ranking kind of further away as well? Bjorn said, can you do a breakdown of your own companies and or websites? Why are you? I feel like that's kind of sketchy, Bjorn. Like, why do you want to know what? Okay, well, I mean, I have an iPhone repair site, a computer repair site, and then my own site, and then, my clients' websites, which aren't mine, but that's pretty much it. Darlene said, SEMrush or SEO Profiler or both? Why? So SEMrush for competition analysis, for instance, what keywords are they ranking for, what links are coming into them, but you can use other stuff for that. SEO Profiler for more rank tracking and alerts and audits and on page and some other stuff around client management. You can do both with either, but I think those are the strong points of both of the tools. So Hale says, how do you use supporting keywords? Choose the primary and then the secondary from LSI graph. And if you have a primary and supporting keyword, can you switch the two to make a new page? Primary is solar EPC companies in Mumbai. Secondary is solar industries in Mumbai. So, I would try to target the main keywords within the title and then maybe some supporting keywords as well if you can fit them in there. But in terms of what you're optimizing for on the page and what you're hoping that Google's going to semantically pick you up for, I would just make sure that you're not over optimizing for one keyword, which means not trying to keyword stuff more than 2 to 3 times per 1,000 words, and then use the rest instead of using the main keywords as LSI keywords or even synonym variation keywords, and ensuring that those are in your heading tags, your alt tags, and your paragraphs, and all that other good stuff. So Hale says, does placing your keywords in caps helps? Are there any benefits or disadvantages to use caps for keywords? So Google says that this isn't something that'll derank you, but I think it looks spammy, and from a user experience standpoint, I probably wouldn't do it. So Hale says, what's the difference between a blog, news, and a post? How are each of these used? Which is most effective within a website or for SEO? In terms of what you're actually going to be using, I would use blog markup. I think that's what we're talking about. If you're going to be doing a news site, then I would use news markup. And if you're going to be writing articles, I would use article markup. Now, if you're talking about the site architecture, what would you be doing for the URLs for these things? You would use dates for a news site. You would use categories for blog posts and article posts. And then I don't know what a post is, but that's pretty much how I do it. But you really want to stay away from trying to represent your articles as news if they're not news. So that means if you're going to be doing news, you'd want to use dates. And if you're going to be using blogs or articles, you would be wanting to do categories. And then I try to stay away from tags. Corvin Van Stone says, what's the best way to do broken link building technique? Now, there's a lot of ways you can do this. One of the cool ways I found is that you can go into something like Scrapebox and you can actually manually crawl URLs that have only broken links. And then you can plug those into something like Pitchbox and email the people about them. That's a tutorial I should probably create in the future. Corbin said, what would you say that are the top 10 on-page SEO factors? I would say that I can tell you the top 3. I would say content is number 3. Well, actually, I would say content's number 2 or 3. We got links, and then I would say the other ones are user intent and user experience. Everything else has to do with more minuscule things like the on page, the heading tags, the off page, anchor text, and so many other things that if you really want to see a lot of the really good ranking factors as well, you can head over to Backlinko, and he has a huge page of the top ranking factors that he thinks are relevant, and it's a pretty good idea of what you should look at. Clark says, in my development and maintenance process, I download the website to desktop server and perform my changes locally, do all the fixes, and migrate the site back to the online version of WordPress. Does this affect SEO at all, and if so, how? So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think maybe you're saying in terms of implementing everything at once. I think it's probably a good thing that you're actually making the changes beforehand and then pushing them, especially because clients probably like to see these changes. The thing I like though is that instead of doing everything at once, I like to do a lot of testing. So I'll do the implementations or changes on the certain pages, and then I'll go back and cross-check with rank tracking and Search Console and all that stuff. So that's the one thing about doing a bunch of changes at once, is you might not know what's correlating to what. So Hale says, what do you think about domain extensions other than .coms for SEO? So I think for the top level domains, they're not really going to differ in terms of the ranking factors, except for like user experience, where people actually trust .coms more. So that's the only benefit I think you get. Jan says, do you know if Yelp, TripAdvisor parse the phone numbers from the web page? One of my clients, oops, I just clicked on this. One of my clients have the phone number listed on the client's website with country code extensions. That's really bad. Oh no, I lost it. So I'm having a hard time understanding this one. Do you know if Yelp, TripAdvisor parse the phone numbers from the web page? One of my clients has 14 citations with the Google My Business number without the country code extension. You can't add the extension. And 16 citations, all the big player like TripAdvisor have the phone number listed on the client's website with country code extensions. So yeah, you want to try to have these as consistent as possible. If you can't do it, then you can't do it. But in most cases, you'd like to make those as consistent as possible. So Hale says, what do you think about faking Google My Business reviews? What do you think about employees giving Google My Business reviews? Yeah, so I mean, it's something that a lot of people do, or a lot of businesses do. I would try to stay away from faking them. The stuff that I do is a little gray hat, but it's at least a little bit more legit, where I get reviews from like actual people who are going to be, watching my videos and stuff, or at least, good friends of me, and that I'm a good person. It's going to be a little bit different. But in terms of what people are actually writing and that stuff, maybe by employees, I would try to stay away from it. So Mike says, what do you think about using UPS store mailboxes? I would not do that, because Google actually says that you shouldn't do that. So Professional for Life Marketing says, Mike, that won't work. He then says, there is a much better way to get locations, and Chase explains how in one of his videos, I can't remember which one, a lot of people have tried. Yeah. So even if you do end up getting away with it, which some people do, and they're like, hey, look, I got away with it, like it's fine. You can still get caught, and if somebody reports you and you get that, they get that found, they can completely remove it and basically destroy all of your work with your citations and everything. It's not worth it. It's much better to do what I do, which is a lot harder because you're trying to rank service areas. But what you do is you go in and you set your business to a service area. So you can register this like at an office of, wherever, and then you set this to a service area, so you're not actually showing your physical location. So there's some other ways too, where I would hire people off Craigslist and then get the business locations verified and that stuff. So if you want to check that video out, I think it's in the local SEO guide, or actually it might be in the rank and rent guide as well. Either way, I got to hop on to another video pretty soon here. I'm going to be doing audit, so I hope I see you guys soon in the near future. And until I see you guys next time, happy SEOing.